Hi, this is Riaz Ahmed. I'm recording this to demonstrate Solr/Lucene installation, configuration, testing, and collaborating with a console-based Java application. This is being created as part of Harvard Extension Big Data Analytic course under course number CSCI-E185. I have divided this tutorial into 4 major parts. First, installation and initial configuration. Second, demo to Solr admin console. Third, index creation and searching. Four, incorporating with a sample application which is written by Java. First, I would like to give a brief about the problem I'm trying to solve using Solr. It's a pretty simple. It's a customer and account management, where customer and account in a many-to-many relationship, and in the database we have 3 tables: customer, account, and mapping. Mapping table is introduced to solve many-to-many. So now I'm gonna implement that in Solr. Before going there, most of the things are already done. I'm recording everything afterwards, so some part I will just explain and show the command what need to be run. First, I'm starting with the installation and configuration. I have downloaded Solr here in this folder and extracted Solr, and the version I am using is 4.2.1. This is the folder where Solr is extracted. So if I go into that Solr folder, this is the parent location, and the most important folder here is the example and this Solr and the collection and the conf. So this is the location where all the config file are stored, or new config file will be stored. The 3 most important configuration files are solrconfig.xml, schema.xml, and dbdataconfig.xml. This dbdataconfig.xml I'll start with. So this is the file I have created. It wasn't there. I created it. Can be any name as long as it is correctly referred from Solr config. So first, the db data config here. This is not the one. So this db data seems like I have modified the one I have used, or I have been using in my project, is the one. This is the one. So let me copy this to that editor so that I can explain it. The reason it got modified because I was playing with something. So this is the db config file I'm using. Here the data is very straightforward. The first tag under data config tag is the data source, where you have to specify the data source. Here I am connecting Solr with SQL Server 2008. So, and I am using JDBC driver to connect to. So the driver name is Microsoft SQL Server JDBC SQL Server driver, and URL is this. This is the URL, and I have SQL Server installed in the same machine, and this is the database name. So here the very first thing is the entity. The first entity defined is customer, and then under customer I have defined that mapping customer mapping, which is the association. So here you see it is defined the query. This query represents the account mapping, And under mapping there is another entity which is the account entity, and this account entity is referring to the account table. So for each entity there are fields which I would like to index. So for customer these are the fields: first name, last name, TIN type and ID. For mapping is account holder, primary account holder, alternate name, and account is account number, initial opening ID, and account opening date. So here a few other things which are important. The first thing is the delta query. This delta query is used for used if I want to do or index or the load update only the delta of the entities. So for each entity has a delta query, and delta query, delta query, and the parent delta query is the association. So because it's customer to mapping to account, so that's why in account parent delta query is pointing to mapping, and from mapping it is pointing to customer. So next XML file or the config file is the schema. So all the fields defined here I'll be pointing in the schema so that those can be indexed. So here so I consolidated all the fields and put it like this. So here the indexed equals to true, stored equals to true. So that's the only change done in this schema.xml. The next config file is the Solr config.xml. So here we have to do few things. First, I would like to import the data from my database for customer account and mapping. So for that I had to create a data import handler. So here data import handler type request handler. So this is the request handler. I gave it a name data import, and the class is Solr or the Apache Solr handler data import and data import handler. And here the first is default, and the config should come from db-data-config.xml. So which is the first config file, and this is the configuration. So these are the configuration file which are stored in conf folder. So after that I need to start the Solr. So when we start the Solr, basically you need to go to that location. Let me show you exactly which location you have to go. So Solr is the parent location. Under then example, under example folder there is a start.jar. So this is the jar we have to execute. This is an executable jar. So behind the scene it starts Solr on JT server. JT is a small servlet based servlet container. So the command to run or start Solr is simple, java/jar start.jar. So if you do that, then the default port is 8983, and this is the URL, default URL. So localhost 8983/Solr. If I hit the URL, so by default at the left side, the most important thing is the core collection. So if I go to the collection, so I am seeing everything. So here I already imported the data and did the indexing. So to do that you have to go to the data import location. Here you see the command is full import, and you have to select entity and hit execute. Once it is done, then here the status bar will come up, will say indexing in progress. It will start showing the time. You can hit refresh status or click on that auto refresh. It will refresh probably every minute, every second, or every 2 seconds. So it will look something similar like this. So if we create the index, so at the once the indexing is created, it will say index completed. Okay, so and then for my project, the index I've created, here it is, it says indexing since 21 minutes. So it took a long time to create the index, and once it is done it will show index completed. So once index is completed, we can go to query, and here we can run. I have the first name one of the fields, so first name is Ted. So this is the query format. We can use and also, which I will be showing later. So here everything I will keep it as it is. Field list is first name, let's say last name, and team. And if I hit execute, it will find the result and send me as an XML format, because as I said that the WT is configured as XML. So here it found most probably 5 or 6 matches, and these are the columns: first name, last name, and team under doc. So this is the admin indexing. And now the last part, which is basically creating a sample application connecting to Solr and do the exact same thing. So for that I have created a project in Eclipse. So here this is the project, test Solr 2. So it's basically a simple console application. The first thing to test it out, I created a test solr.java. Here it does nothing, it does exactly same thing what I just did. First name Ted. So let's run that. If I run that, it will list down the response. So here response is also by default is XML. So here you see it's a long string. It will say Ted and all the matches, teen, first name, last name. So it will list, return all the records, same as the thing we did it in the console. To make it more intuitive, I created another .java class, which is basically taking parameter from console. It will take 2 parameters, first name and last name. We can leave both blank, or one provide value to one and leave other blank. So that's why I created a method, get command param, which will be invoked twice to get first name and last name. So this is the code where it gets the first name and last name. That function is called, or method is called, and then based checking whether the parameter is passed. If passed, it will keep constructing the query which need to be passed to Solr. So once the query is constructed, the parameters are set here. So select query. Here is the constructed query will be passed, and the fields list here. These are the field list, and just to test it out, the writing type changed to CSV. And once the response is returned, it will be displayed in this screen. So if I run this application, so first it is asking for first name, I am providing Ted. Then asking for second name, I am providing Moon. You see the query, this is the query it created just for testing purpose, and here it is returning last name, number found 1, and teen, first name, last name. So that's how it is configured and getting data from Solr. I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. Bye.